In our English studies lesson today, we'll be looking at another very important topic, the use of must and have to. I repeat, the use of must, M-U-S-T, and have to. But before we go into the lesson proper, let's do the correction to the previous homework. You were asked to fill in the gaps with the most suitable conjunctions. Remember, our last topic was conjunctions. She promised to go, dash, you two will go. The answer is provided that. She promised to go, provided that you two will go. Number 2, I had broken my glasses, dash, I couldn't see what was happening. The answer, the right conjunction is so. It becomes, I had broken my glasses, so I couldn't see what was happening. We were coming to see you, dash, it rained. The correct or the appropriate conjunction there is but, B-U-T. It becomes, we were coming to see you, but it rained. We were all surprised when we saw the house, dash, he had lived. The conjunction there is where. We were all surprised when we saw the house where he had lived. And the last one, Mrs. Kehinde was happy, dash, her husband returned from London. The conjunction there that is correct, that is appropriate for that gap is when. Mrs. Kehinde was happy when her husband returned from London. I believe you all got the 5 correctly. Are you sure? Okay, if you do, and even not, I will still celebrate you with a chair. Now to the learning objective for today. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to make use of the word must, must not, and have to. You must be able to make use of the word must, M-U-S-T, must not, and have to. You must be able to make use of them correctly. The word must and have to both express obligation or necessity, but there are some differences. When we use the word must and have to, both of them express obligation. That is what you must do, or what is compulsory for you to do. But there are some differences. Let's look at the word must. M-U-S-T, must. The word must is a modal auxiliary verb. The word must is a modal auxiliary verb. It is followed by a main verb, and it is often used to say that something is essential or necessary. When you have in a sentence the word must, it is telling you one thing, that that action, the verb, in the action word in that sentence is essential or necessary. It expresses subjective obligations. Subjective obligations like the speaker's feelings or idea, or what the speaker thinks is necessary, and not what is imposed from outside. It expresses subjective obligations like the feeling of the speaker, the idea of the speaker, or what the speaker thinks is necessary and not what is imposed from outside. That's not what is imposed or like a rule from outside. For example, we must do it. We must do it. It means we are obliged to do it. It means it is compulsory for us to do it because the word must is used. We are obliged to do it, or it is compulsory for us to do it. Must I wear this gown? Must I wear this gown? It means, am I obliged to wear this gown? What do you think? That is talking about the speaker's opinion. Am I obliged to wear this gown? What do you think? Then, I must stop playing. He must work harder. It's talking about things that are compulsory for us to do. Have to. Have to. The word have to is not an auxiliary verb. It uses the verb have as a main verb. It is not an auxiliary verb. It only uses the verb have as the main verb. Let's note that we can use the word have to in all tenses. The word have to can be used in all tenses. For example, he has to, he had to, he will have to. It can be used in all tenses. The word have to expresses objective or impersonal obligation. The word have to expresses what? Objective or impersonal obligation. The subject of have to is obliged or forced to ask or forced to act by a separate external power. For example, the law or your school rules. When the word have to is used, it implies that you are bound by law to do it. The obligation is imposed from outside and not an opinion or idea of the subject in the sentence. You have to do your homework. That means I am telling you that you must do it. It's a rule that you must do your homework. For example, you have to come. That means you are required to come. There is a rule requiring you to come. You have to come. You are required to come. That is what it means. That means you are bound by law to come. Do I have to wear this gown? It means, is there a rule about the gown? Is there a rule about the gown? Now, talking about the use of must not. The word must not expresses prohibition. The word must not expresses what? It expresses prohibition. That means something that is not permitted or not allowed. This prohibition can be subjective. When we say subjective, it means the speaker's opinion, or objective. When we say something is objective, a real law or rule. Examples. I must not play too much. I must not or mustn't play too much. It is subjective. That is your own opinion. During this COVID-19 pandemic, you must not go to bank or even any public place without wearing nose mask. Is that subjective or objective? Of course it is subjective because there is a rule that says that. Policemen or policemen must not drink alcohol while on duty. It is also objective because it is a rule. There is a law saying that, stating that. You must not drink tea with too much sugar. That is subjective. It is your own opinion. There is no rule or no law that makes that compulsory, except yourself or your daddy or your mommy. I must not miss the classroom in your home for anything. That is also subjective because you chose either to miss it or not to miss it by yourself. But it is good that you don't miss it. Now it is activity time. Fill in the gaps with the correct words. Since everybody is going there, so dash to go. Since everybody is going there, so dash to go. She have, she has, she has have, she have has. What is the correct answer? She has to go. She has to go. Which of the following is an objective obligation? We just discussed about the subjective and the objective obligation. So look at the following sentences. Every child must not be left behind in accessing quality basic education. I must ensure that my child is enrolled in an international school. I must make sure that my child is the best in a school. Every child must have a laptop. Which of the sentences is an objective obligation? Yeah, well done. You're right. Every child must not be left behind in accessing quality basic education. That is the objective obligation. What is the common similarity between must and have to? What is the common similarity between must and have to? Both are modal auxiliary verb. Both means the same thing. Both have negative forms, and both are used to express obligation. What is your answer? Let's see. Both are used to express obligation. You dash come late to school. You dash come late to school. Have to, should, must not, has to. Yes, you said it together. Well done. You must not come late to school. That's a rule. Do I dash tell them? Do I dash tell them? Must, has to, have to, must not. Do I have to tell them? Now your homework. You have to write 3 sentences each using must and have to. I want to see 3 different sentences using must and have to, making 6 sentences in all. You know what is at stake if you do your homework. Yes, good life magic juice. And please, when you are submitting your homework, your name, your school, your class, and your local government. If you are not resident in Lagos State, let us know your state. We have come to the end of the English Studies lesson for today. Let me hand you over to the mathematician, Uncle Agbaje, for the mathematics lesson. Well done.